Hey Algebra, we're going to do a quick easy lesson. It's chapter 12. We're going to do the first part of section 5 on probability. I'm sure you've probably done this before. Let me go over just a couple terms, and I think honestly you're going to be fine with this. Probability it's basically a fraction. It's a fraction that could be, if something had a probability of 0, that would mean it would never happen. If something goes all the way up to a probability of 1, it means it always happens. Most things are going to be in between this. So the way that you think of probability is, here's the number of chances, and then, well, how do I say it? It's like the number of chances that something happens and then the number of times that you actually did it. I don't know if that's a very formal definition, but let me just think about it like this. Say you're flipping a coin. There are how many chances that you can have? You can have heads or tails. So there's 2 chances. And if you flip it 1 time, you basically have a 50-50 chance. You have a 1/2 chance of getting heads or getting tails. If you were thinking about dice, and you roll 1 dice and you said, what's the chances of getting a 6? Well, if you think about a cube, it has 6 sides. And if you roll it 1 time and you're seeing if you can get a certain number, you have a 1 out of 6 chance of that. If there were 3 doors in the classroom, there's only 1 door, but if there was 3, we would have a total number of chances of having 3. And if I said, okay, guys, out of the 3 doors, let's take bets on which one Mr. Moorbacher is going to come in next. Well, he can only come in 1 door at a time, so he's going to have a 1 out of 3 shot of that. Okay, is that making sense? Again, I don't know if that's a very good formal definition, but I hope that you get the concept. There's 2 things. One's called experimental probability and one's called theoretical probability. Theoretical, just like it sounds, is like from the word theory. And so theoretical probability is going to be the exact probability that you would calculate out with math. So for instance, if we flipped a coin, you have a 1/2 chance of getting heads. If we flipped it 10 times, you would have a 5 out of 10 chance of getting heads. When you actually do the experiment, though, it doesn't always turn out that way, and you know that. When you actually take a coin and you flip it 10 times, maybe you get 6 out of 10 being heads. That doesn't mean that our theoretical prediction was wrong. It just means in real life, it doesn't always turn out exactly the same way. There might be little differences. Experimental probability, the differences are higher when you do it less times. For instance, if I did it just 2 flips of the coin, it should be 1 time head, 1 time tails. But often that's off if I just do it 2 times. If I flipped it 1,000 times, my theoretical probability would be 500 out of 1,000, and when I do it experimentally, it's going to be very close to that. So if you're worried about experimental probability, messing up your experiment or something, just do more trials. And the experimental probability will always come around and be very close to the theoretical probability.